Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. First things first, I have no idea what it is on my head today. Whether it's dog fur or whether I'm Marilyn Monroe or just back in the 50s today, or maybe it's all of those three things together. I have no idea. I just wanted to curl my ends, but in the end this happened. Don't ask me, don't ask me. As long as it looks okay, does it look okay? I'm fine. As long as you're fine, I'm also fine. So, main things now. Today I have a anime review for you again, and today a really special one. It's a quite new one and there was a big hype about it. I watched it actually when I was here back to Germany again 1 or 2 months ago. This is so beautiful. I decided also to try out something new, like just a little change in my usual content concerning anime reviews. So instead of only doing my pro and con list at the end, I will also do a little section of things that are special about this anime, which are neither good or bad, which are just maybe things that I think are interesting. And yeah, let's try it out. Maybe it's not gonna be a big change anyway, but just to bring this out of this list only. Let's begin with basic things. The anime has 13 episodes and is actually from a light novel that was released in 2015, but the anime was released in 2018 by Kyoto Animation. The genre focuses on fantasy and drama, though I'd say that it's not as much fantasy. It is kind of fantasy because like many things are invented, or like countries don't exist maybe, but they could. Let's put it that way. What is the general content of Violet Evergarden? Violet Evergarden, the title of the anime, is also the name of the main character, Violet Evergarden, who is an auto memory doll. These auto memory dolls are people who help other people to write down their feelings and thoughts in a letter. Basically why they listen to the stories of those people. So initially in the anime, those auto memory dolls are actually employed by Dr. Orland, a scientist who wanted to assist his blind wife in writing her novels with that method. But later, they were of course hired by other people who needed that kind of service. Today, one would refer maybe with that term to the industry of writing for others or ghostwriting. Violet Evergarden becomes an auto memory doll after the war is over and she has to reintegrate herself into society. This is a fictitious country, and also the language, as far as I remember, like the writing, it looks more like a European stuff, and the names are also a mix of English and German and I don't know. Imagine the world has developed differently and not in those countries with that languages. It would maybe end up the way it is in Violet Evergarden. I think it's also beginning of 20th century, around 1900s. And now that she's no longer a soldier who actually didn't know anything but killing and murdering, though she's just 14, she's now on a journey of finding her life's purpose, which also includes understanding the words "I love you," because these were the last words her major Gilbert told her before he died. That's the general thing about this anime, and at this point I don't want to stop here, but I'd rather explain to you the person of, or the character of Violet Evergarden, because she's the key thing to pretty much everything. Understanding who she is can make understand everything else a bit better. So actually it's all about, not all about, but a lot includes her development, and she is a focus. Violet Evergarden, she didn't always have this name because she's actually an abandoned, nameless child who's found by a Navy officer on an island where he and his crew were at that moment. Violet Evergarden at that moment killed several soldiers who attempted to rape her. After that, that officer took her home and gave her to his brother Gilbert, who's later her major, in the military, so he could use her as a tool or as a weapon, because she has just incredible abilities apparently, for war. But instead, Gilbert treats her as a human being, even gives her a name, Violet. He also teaches her speaking, reading, writing. From then she assists Gilbert in many wars and battles, and she also loses her arms in the last one trying to save Gilbert, which did not work. By the way, all those things happen in the first episode, that's why I don't know if it's really spoiler or not, but it's kind of the pre-story of it. And after that she gets kind of advanced metallic prosthetics for her arms and becomes an auto memory doll, in order for herself at least least to learn the meaning of I love you. From then she learns how to be an auto memory doll. She has classes and her first clients. In the beginning she's really bad though, because she doesn't have any emotions kind of, or doesn't know how to feel. She was just a death machine before. But this kind of work just includes understanding the feelings of other people. But after a while, along with her own development, she begins to look into other people's hearts and what they want to tell, actually what they want to say. She gets so much better, like she actually even becomes the best among auto memory dolls at that time. And yeah, she has her clients and maybe understands more and more what I love you means. At this point I have to mention another character that is really not the most important, but he has his importance, I'd say. It's Claudia Hodgins. Yeah, Claudia, it's a guy's name here. He is the president of the postal company Violet Evergarden works in, and a former army commander, also a really good friend of Gilbert. He actually helped him in the beginning with Violet to make her take her first steps, kind of, and now he's doing the same for her, like after the war. So he kind of helps her get herself up, you know, put her on her feet. By doing so, he kind of fulfills the promise he gave to Gilbert, though I don't remember if it was a promise right now or if it was a feeling of guilt he had towards him. I don't know, but because he has this feeling, whether it's a promise or guilt, he's taking care of Violet Evergarden even now after Gilbert's death, and even though the war is over. I don't know if one could say he's kind of a father figure, maybe, or a little bit at least, but yeah, I think he's kind of an important character. And so we go over to my pro and con list first. I love the drawing, or like the illustration of this anime. The colors are chosen well. Not only the proportions, but like, you know, the details. Those are just so beautiful. I don't know why, but it doesn't happen that often that it has such an effect on me when I watch an anime. And just like, wow, it's just beautiful. Connecting to that, I like the time the anime plays in, actually. Of course, it's a personal preference, but I really like those more historical, but not too old, but kind of historical stuff, and still more on the like European, let's say, realistic side. The success of the illustration kind of sums up with the time, because like they have to choose the right clothing, the colors, you know, and it all just fits so well. The drawing style and everything concerning that fits so well to the story and the time it plays in. Good job to that one. And of course I like the story. I mean, it's interesting, kind of innovative, it makes sense, and it's well composed. There's nothing where I'd say, okay, this is weird, and it causes a lot of empathy and emotions in the audience, at least it did for me, especially when the focus is maybe shifted from Violet Evergarden to her client's story, and they tell her story and they kind of have those flashbacks. I think that's the same what I liked about animes like Clannad. Oh, Clannad is such a tear, like honestly. But it was also like the stories of other people, which were not the main characters actually, but then you have a different insight, you have even more emotion, and it's just perfect. Though it was actually not what I expected before watching. I thought it's only about her all the time, but no. That gives kind of a variety to it, and I really love that. What I also meant by innovative is that they wrapped this classic, I'd say, story of taming a monster in such a beautiful, unexpected way. I don't know, but I'm also gonna explain that a bit later, what I mean by that, but I just liked the way they did this. I liked how they portrayed her before and after, like how she developed, how peaceful she became suddenly. I just stop here at this point. I'm gonna explain that later, but first I wanna tell you something that I did not like so much about this anime. It's the end. It's kind of an open end, and open ends are kind of cool. Sometimes they're really cool. The audience can kind of imagine themselves what happens after, for example, but in this case one can view it in two different ways. Whether it's open and unsatisfying concerning the death of Gilbert, because that's basically a thing that is drawn through the whole story. I mean, she really wants to find Gilbert. At the beginning she doesn't even know he's dead. She's trying to find him. She finds out he's dead, but this hope that he's still not dead is settled even in the audience, like inside of me. The end just didn't give me the answer. Is he dead or is he not dead? He probably is dead, but at that point it was just like, it was not firm enough for me for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way they created it. I don't know, but that could be one thing. Or it gives you hope for a second season maybe, because let's look at the length. Actually, I like animes that have the length like that one. I have a good overview. That's why I don't like animes that are too long, because I just lose track of the story and everything. But But in this case, I don't even know what I think about it. It's like good and bad at the same time for me, because the story is too good to stretch it too long. But at the same time, it was still good enough to maybe give it one more season at least, like one, with like 12 episodes. It's enough. I don't know, it's just like kind of, I want something more. I think there's more potential in it. Maybe in the future we will have more, because I mean, it's still a light novel, it's still a game. And usually when you have games, I mean, look at Fate Stay Night, how many seasons does it have? I don't know. And now, the interesting things that I wanted to talk about. I mentioned it before, the wrapping of this taming thing. I think I've never experienced such a drastic change in a character in such a short time. I don't know, like she goes from full war death machine to peaceful and emotional and empath over 9000. Like, this is crazy, and it's not even weird. It doesn't feel weird to me. It's okay, totally, because sometimes if a change happens too drastically, it can just feel like wrong. But in this case, they made a good job. I think this is also included in the content of the anime, so that she's being confronted with the fact that she was like this in the past and suddenly she's writing letters. So she's confronted with that several times, and that's why she also has doubts from time to time. I think it's interesting just to see how different people can develop and how magical development can be sometimes. And another thing would be, did you actually notice that Violet Evergarden is so similar to Saber from Fate Stay Night? I mentioned Fate Stay Night just now. I mean, let's look at this. She looks the same. Like, the dress is so similar. The hairstyle is so similar. That she's a soldier or a warrior, the same. And both of the things are actually like initially a game or a light novel. To be honest, in the beginning, I did not even notice, like when I saw fan art of Violet Evergarden before I knew what it is, before I knew that Violet Evergarden exists. I thought that this is Saber. I always thought this is Saber. Like, honestly, I don't know, it's been like 2 or 3 years since I watched Fate Stay Night. I don't remember. I was so confused. I was just so confused. I was like, wait, this is a copy? This is the same? Like, how? Just crazy. I don't know if that's just a coincidence. If it is a coincidence, it's a really fat coincidence, but maybe the producer just has an inspiration. I didn't even get the hype first, you know, because I saw this and suddenly I was like, oh, why is Saber popping up everywhere suddenly? I mean, like, is there a new Fate Stay Night season or what? But then it was just Violet Evergarden. Oops. Yeah, but that's all I can say. I think I talked so much today. I was so enthusiastic about this shit for some reason. I have no idea. Did I get more professional? I need glasses next time. I'm sorry for talking this much. I hope you could follow me, and I hope it was interesting at least. Give me a thumbs up, and have you watched Violet Evergarden? Write something in the comments, or even if you don't, but just leave whatever you think or want to tell me. I really love to read your comments always. I also leave my Instagram and my Twitter. I hope you have a great week, a great day, a great time, a great everything, and we see each other next time. Bye bye!